What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hardworking Happy Hour. I'm Sean.
And I'm Catherine, and as always, we'll be breaking down all things trades, entrepreneurship, and turning your creativity into a passion career. Hello, Sean, and the ladybug that's on his hand. Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry, I just started choking for no reason. Yeah, I got a Coke Zero here, and there's a little ladybug on my can.
Oh, bless it.
Oh, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's ladybug season. You getting them over there where you're at?
No, I didn't know there was a season for them.
There is, and we're in it. we're right smack dab in the middle of it. I just took this out of the fridge. I think it was in the fridge. I don't know what's up with that, but whatever.
I'm okay with it. Garage fridge?
We're talking garage fridge.
That checks out.
I guess, yeah,
It would take a lot of work for a ladybug to get inside of your house fridge, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like to get into any fridge, it would take a lot of work. But, hey, kudos to that ladybug. Did you know they're actually male?
All of them?
Like the ones that look like ladybugs? I feel like the female ones look different. That might not be true.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Oh, okay. I guess it's probably not. I probably just made that up. But anyway, how you doing? How you making out?
I'm doing great. I just got back from Deck Expo.
We did, and probably the most notable thing, it seems, is the hats that we got because
we are both wearing them.
We signed on here, and we're both wearing the same exact hat. A little different.
No, they're not the exact same. They're different colors.
Different colors, and they have a different patch on it. But, yeah, just came back from Deck Expo, and decorators they always have these little, these little things in the booth, like, oh, we're giving away this or that. They had a hat. What would you even call it? A hat
press?
Buffet?
Oh, buffet. Yeah, I like that.
A
hat buffet.
Yeah. It was like a hat buffet. They had different hats and then different patches. And then you pick out your patch and you pick out your hat and they put it on there for you. And it was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
All kinds of people lining up for it. So I'm just glad I got one.
I think it was definitely the coolest swag I saw, for sure.
Yeah, I would say so. But we did just get back from Deck Expo, first show that we've been to in a while, and also co-located with the Pool Spa Patio Expo in Dallas, Texas. Yeah. And what a good time.
Yeah.
What a good time. It feels good to get back at a show, and summer's always very light on shows. They're always, fall, winter, spring, nothing in the summer. But what'd you like about it? Did you see anything cool?
No, just the people.
The people. God, it is all about the people.
Cool thing. I just saw a lot of people I liked.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Probably a couple we didn't like.
Oh, definitely, of course.
Yeah. But no,
which brings
mostly.
Us to our next segment, the hot goss of Deck Expo.
No, there wasn't any. Everybody's just good, upstanding citizens. But
just kidding.
We just got back from the show, and it got me thinking because, we have people that we're chatting with and everything, and people are always asking questions at these kind of things. And the same kind of questions always seem to pop up for me. People are like, hey, I've been following you for so long, and I just want to know X, Y, and Z. So I thought that would be a good thing to talk about because I feel like we kind of do talk about it a decent amount, or I feel like I've answered the question a lot of times, given my insight or whatever small bit of wisdom I do possess on the subject. But a lot of people are still asking.
Yeah.
We get similar questions every Q&A Friday. We get them at these shows. So I figured, probably haven't talked about it in a while. So let's talk about it now.
Yeah.
What better time? My God, you got anything else?
Gosh.
You got anything else that you want to talk about first?
No.
Anything interesting that you saw today? I did.
No, what? What are you talking about?
Well, you didn't see it because it was on my way to work, but I think you would have really enjoyed seeing it.
The white deer?
No.
Oh.
But it was a deer. Mm-hmm. Somebody on the side of the road cutting the head off of a deer.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Right in kind of rush hour. Right on the side of Route 70.
Why were they doing that?
It was a buck. I guess had gotten hit by a car. And I don't know. I guess people collect the heads or something. I'm not
But
totally
isn't
sure.
it supposed to be like if you hunt it or something, then you get to have its rack or whatever? Is this Stolen Valor, like Deer Edition? You didn't get that
certainly,
deer.
it certainly seems
that.
It certainly seems that way. I don't know. I didn't really have too much time to process it. It was just at the point where he was twisting it off of the body and loading it into the bed of his truck. But it seemed like just a bit of a, I don't know, what a curveball to start your morning. Like, oh, deer on the side of the road. Let me cut its head off and put it in my truck.
Yeah, I wonder where he was going, and now he has to be like, sorry, small detour. I'm going to be late to work this morning.
I don't even know if he cut it off or he just twisted it straight off because I saw him twisting it.
Oh, God.
And
that's horrible.
Yeah, so that's how I started my morning.
Oh,
it's great. Yeah.
I don't care.
It's crazy stuff you see out here in the sticks.
Yeah.
You know, but hey, what are you going to do? It was already, it had already ceased to be living.
Yeah, I guess.
So
I guess they're up for grabs at that point.
At least his memory will live on, I guess.
Ugh.
Okay. Well,
anyway,
moving on. Deck Expo was a great time. I don't know if this is the venue for it, but should I get the people's opinion?
No.
Why not?
Oh my God.
Why not? You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, and I'm not sanctioning this. If you do it, this is Sean. This is
all right. This
Sean.
is coming straight from me.
I am not a part of this.
Okay.
Do not lump me in with what Sean is about to say. This is his independent part of the podcast at this point. Go ahead, Sean. You have the floor.
The following statements do not reflect the thoughts or opinions of Catherine Lippincott.
Thank you.
All right, so we're at the show, and they always have these little things that they're doing, and somebody is there at one of the booths taking photographs, a cameraman, and he said, "Hey, do you want a headshot?" And I said, "The JFK version." And Catherine was so horrified by that. I just thought it was hilarious. The timing, my God, the location, we're in Dallas. I mean,
I will say that the only thing that impressed me was the speed at which you came up with that. It was instantaneous.
It was
like you were waiting for someone to say that. I was impressed with the speed. I, however, did not care for the joke. But you did get a couple of laughs, so. I
had to tell, at that specific venture, I don't think there was any laughs. There were some gasps, which are always good in comedy. And then I recounted the story many times because I just, I couldn't believe that it's such a good joke. I couldn't believe you were horrified by it. But I retold it many times over the course of that day and got some good laughs there. So
the retells got some laughs, yeah.
They did. So let us know. Chime in on that. Feel free to use that if you're ever in Dallas and somebody asks if you want a headshot.
Yeah.
So anyway, I digress. Well, should we get into the topic? Just start rapping about it?
Wait, I do feel like we have to talk about one other thing if we're going to talk about Deck Expo.
Oh, okay.
Our blessings.
Oh, the blessings. Yeah. That was great. So if you were at Deck Expo or the pool show, you probably saw a bunch of fake $20 bills everywhere. And that's something that we've had for a while to promote the podcast. It looks like a folded up $20 bill on the ground, but then you open it up and it says, the podcast, talking trains and entrepreneurship every week. Sound like I said trains. We don't talk about trains that much, but sometimes. Occasionally trains. And first we were just kind of throwing them on the ground, and then we were hiding them in people's booths. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start. I was getting into a bit of a squirrely mood towards the end of the first day, and I just started going up to people and saying, hey, been seeing you today. You're doing a great job, and I just wanted to bless you real quick. Hand them a 20 and walk away. And it provided a lot of laughs for me.
Yeah, we had a good time with it.
For me. I'm really good at entertaining myself. So I got a kick out of it. But
yeah,
we thought, we're there. This is our target audience.
Couldn't be more targeted.
Do a little promo.
Yeah.
And so be on the lookout for those at a trade show near you. Because if we're there, we might be doing it again.
Yeah.
So anyway.
All right. To the topic.
Okay. So whenever we're at these shows and we meet people that have, maybe been following us for a long time, I always get the same couple of questions. And although, like I said, I feel like I've talked about this a lot in various outlets, whether it's on this podcast a little bit or Q&A Friday or just anything like that. But I always get the same couple. So I thought it would be worth it to get into it a little bit and just share some thoughts and maybe some updated thoughts as I've grown as a business owner, as a person. Maybe a little bit of new wisdom every time, I step back and look at these topics. And I would say by far and away, the number one question that I always get from people is, how do you get these really cool, creative jobs? How do you find the clients for the really cool, unique projects that you're building and the size of the projects? Like, I can't find clients that want to hire me for these bigger projects or, they just want something cookie cutter. And I get that all the time. And it was my biggest thought and concern as I started this business. The number one thing that I thought about was, I love doing this. I really enjoy building outdoor spaces. I got a little taste of it and I said, I really like this. I can be super passionate about this. I think I have a skill set that, can flourish in this little space that we've got here. So my number one concern was, I don't want to just build regular old stuff. It doesn't excite me to build a 12 by 12 deck or a 12 by 12 patio with a single border. Like that doesn't get me all jacked up. And I knew that if I got into this business, I just wouldn't last if I was doing stuff that didn't excite me. So I had to think, how do I get these clients that are going to want really unique stuff? How do I go from somebody that doesn't really even know what he's doing, doesn't know how to run a business, and has no reputation? How am I going to just get clients that want to have me build cool stuff? And the answer there is, it's almost impossible. You can't do it. You can't just jump right into it and say, I want to build these really cool, unique projects, and I want to get what it's worth for my time invested into it. It just doesn't work like that. So,
Sean, please silence your phone during this.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Did you hear the beep?
I did, yeah.
Was it loud?
It was a ding. Sorry. It was a ding. I heard a ding.
Oh, I am.
It's very loud.
For that, I do apologize.
How dare you?
I do.
Keep going.
I'm a busy guy. But let me see if I silenced it here. Here we go. Let's see.
Okay, Boomer. Just flip the little switch on the side.
The switch on the side.
Come on.
You're talking here.
Come on. You're wasting our time here.
Okay. All right. So, when you get into this, there's no reputation to lean on. There's no network of people that are seeking you out already. So the one thing that I realized starting this out is you have control over the presence that you're building. The things that you put out into the world are the things that people are going to perceive you with. So yes. My entire idea was, I'm going to start this business, and I know that I can't just get clients that are going to say, I have $100,000 to spend, build the coolest thing possible. You've only built a couple things, but hey, I believe in you there, kid. It's just not going to happen realistically. So my idea was, I really want to get to this point where we build this reputation as the person that you call when you want something built really cool and really unique. So you have to start somewhere. And that somewhere is you find the clients that have whatever budget they have, whatever clients you can find. And then you kind of reverse engineer that highest budget that you can kind of get out of them. And then you say, how many cool things can I possibly do and just squeak by, just make enough money so I can pay my bills? I have really low overhead right now. I have low personal expenses. I can just spend, as much time as I need to here to get that final picture. That final picture is the asset that I'm going after. It's not like you're just building something and you're not getting paid what it's worth. You're not worth that yet because you haven't proven yourself. Yeah. So the thing that you really need, that you are kind of paying for in a way, is that final picture. You're gaining experience. You're gaining, you're honing your skills, and you're getting that final picture, which then you can take And you can market that, and then you can say, okay, this job that I charged $30,000 for that took 11 weeks and was $20,000 in material, you know, I only got $30,000 for it. I probably made $11 an hour over the course of this 11-week project or whatever. But I can take that and say, next client, Mrs. Jones, this right here is an example of what a $100,000 backyard looks like. You know, and you start to do that, and everybody out there doesn't know anything but what you put in front of them. So if you're using social media to market, if you're doing door knockers, if you're doing a billboard, whatever you're doing, there's so many different ways to market. It doesn't have to just be on social media like we did, but you're in control of what that image is you put out there. So number one, you need to collect some assets of what is the type of project you want to build. And you're probably going to have to take a huge hit on your profits to create this thing to then market it.
Yeah.
You could be a little sketchy and a little, tiny bit slimy and say, hey, check out this picture. And it's not a project you built, but you don't want to do that. That's not a solid foundation for business. So you got to build it first. Build it and they will come.
Yes.
So once you have these things, you put it out into the world, and that's how people are going to receive you. You know, you have 5 projects up on your website, up on your social, and if a person is just looking at that for the first time, but it's all really cool projects, they don't know that you just started out and you're not making any money on these jobs. All they know is, I just found this contractor and wow, these pictures look really cool. That's all they know. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, humans by nature are like, we're visual creatures and we're not super good at seeing outside of the box, especially when you don't know somebody. So if all of your pictures, you could build the most seamless, perfect 12 by 12 pressure treated deck. The carpentry, everything could be like top notch, perfect. But that client, like the client is just going to see a pressure treated deck. They don't see how like the craftsman that you put into it, and they're not going to see, oh wow, this person is, they did that. They're probably capable of building my $200,000 backyard. I don't know this person, but I'm going to believe in them that they can do this project for me. Like they're just going to see that and they're going to think, okay, he can build 12 by 12 decks. I see that. I know that now. Yeah. They have no reason to believe in you further than what you've proved to that point, So it's like, I mean, I feel like maybe your family does that, because for Pat and I, it's always like, I'll be like, I've never done that before, and everyone's like, hey, you can figure it out. But strangers, they're not going to believe in you like that. They got to be shown. You have to have proof of concept. You have to like really show your worth visually before anybody's going to believe in you, especially when it comes to construction, because there are so many things. Like, I feel like you could build a really good like PT small deck and put a lot of like really intricate things into it that like another carpenter might be like, wow, that was impressive. You really know your stuff. But the average homeowner would never notice in a million years. So
yeah, you
have to show yourself in a way, some sort of way, before anybody's going to believe in you.
Absolutely. And they might believe in you. Like, yeah, your family's like, oh yeah, you could figure it out. But a client might think that, or a stranger, but they're not going to believe in it enough to say, okay, well, here's $200,000 of my money.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I believe in you. You can do anything you set your mind to.
And once you do it, come back to me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it really is that, like, I kind of fell back on this mantra of, if you build it, they will come. Create the vision of what you want a client to see, and then that's how you're going to attract that type of client.
Yeah.
So there's a couple different facets to this. And number one is, a lot of people think, okay, well, I'll just wait for these jobs to kind of come my way. And they probably will. You might meet somebody that kind of has a connection to you, or really knows you, or just really likes you, and they will give you that chance. That is going to happen every once in a while, but it's not going to happen consistently. So you can sit back and wait for those really cool projects to kind of come your way, spend 10 years trying to build a decent portfolio of cool projects. But what's going to happen is, in the meantime, you're going to be saying yes to all these other jobs that aren't like your ideal jobs. They don't fit into the vision of what you want your brand or your company to be. And those jobs that don't fit in, they lead to more jobs like that job.
Yeah.
A 12 by 12 deck leads to more 12 by 12 decks because people see it and say, oh, that's nice. And that's exactly what I had in mind for my house.
Right.
But like you said, somebody that wants something really over the top or really unique or really artistic, they're not going to see that and say, oh, I'll hire this guy. He'll probably be able to do this as well. It's just not. So my strategy and the way I went about it in the beginning was I got presented a lot of opportunities for those really simple projects. And it's really hard to turn those down in the beginning because you really don't have a lot of money. You don't have, you don't know when that next cool opportunity is going to come to you. But if you say yes to that boring job that doesn't fit what you want to do, and I don't even want to say boring job because building 12 by 12 decks is cool. You know what I mean? If you're in it just for like the craftsmanship of it and like you just love being on the tools. That's not what I loved about it. I love the creative part of it. So I don't want to say like if you build 12 by 12 decks, that's not cool. It didn't get me excited because I like the design aspect of it. So get that out of the way. But if I say yes to a job like that, I already know it's going to lead to more jobs that are like that. And it's going to keep me tied down for when the right opportunity does come along. I'm not able to jump on it because I'm busy doing all this other stuff that really is just, it's busy work. It's not leading me forward in any capacity. It's not, it's not building me towards this vision that I've created. It's just really a side distraction. It's really hard to say no to those things, but I made it really part of my being to say, no, I'm going to say no to these jobs because then if I don't get a creative job coming my way, I will be sitting at home making no money, forced to figure it out and say, okay, I need to get creative with my marketing again because I don't have any jobs coming in. And I just said no to this job. I have no money. Nobody's calling me. How do I get people talking about it and people excited and get my projects out there more? So it forces you into this mindset where you have to make it work. If you're not in that mindset and you're busy building the 12 by 12 decks, then you're never going to be forced to get creative to get those projects that you want.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I just thought of something else that if you aren't getting these jobs that you want, and like let's say you're just kind of more of like a stock builder at the moment, and you really want to get into like higher design or luxury things, I feel like maybe like one of the first steps you could take is getting more creative with your photography that you do post, because it's we do have, as outdoor living builders, we do have the benefit of like being able to stage these spaces to look a lot better. And if you get really kind of more artsy with your photography and post it as if it's like a higher end piece of photography, it is going to give that illusion that it is like a higher end space, whether it is or not. Just get really creative with the photography. And I feel like that could be a good first step for people if they're like, okay, I don't want to just post this, picture of the deck from outside in the yard and it's kind of just showing the space and there's a bunch of shadows. It doesn't look good. Yeah, like if you stage it, which I think is a great tip, and then if you take like more creative photography shots and your marketing material starts to look a little bit more elevated, I feel like that's a good way to kind of start that shift of moving into that space of getting those clients.
Absolutely. I think that's a great tip because you can take, like I'll see it on Pinterest all the time. Like you see a picture just come up and it looks like, oh wow, it's a great picture. It's a really cool looking space. It might not show the entire space, but it's like really well, the photograph itself has really great composition. It has good lighting. It's got furniture in it. It has plants, and it just looks like, oh wow, that's a really nice space. And then you look a little closer, and you're like, this isn't really a nice deck at all. It's just wow, they really decorated it nicely and jazzed it up, and a lot of times that is gonna, well, hopefully your craftsmanship on this project is good to begin with, but you can stage it so that it has this like feeling of a little bit more unique and a little bit more depth to it than just, hey, here you go, here's your open dance floor that's off your back deck and fill it up with whatever the hell you want. Like,
Yeah.
show people when they see where the couch is and that there's a fire pit there or fire table, or they see how it's staged, they can then imagine themselves in it, and it gives them that picture. And it ultimately just is a small part in you building your brand.
Yeah.
Each photograph that you post, each thing that's in your portfolio on your website is one little piece of the branding house that you're building.
Yeah.
Do you like that little metaphor?
Good one. Beautiful.
Construction metaphor about construction metaphors or something. Wow.
Yeah, the photography thing though, that just, it made me think of it because that just recently got me, where I was looking at this photo and it was a really good looking photo of an outdoor space. And I was like, wow, this looks like really beautifully curated. Like everything in it was really pretty. But it was just somebody who had a concrete slab and they painted it like it looked like black and white floor tiles. And I was like, I should know better. That's just painted concrete. Like, and it duped me into being like, wow, that space is really nice.
Yeah.
Which ultimately did look really nice. It was just painted concrete, nothing super special. But I was like, that is like, it's all just about how you sell it. It was a good photo. And I was like, wow, that space looks very inviting. So.
Yeah. There's so much that you can do with it. And I think it really does help if you, like, I've realized pretty early on, like, one of the only things that I would say an advantage against my competition was just that I was younger. So I was used to using social media. I was familiar with that. So I think I had a little bit of an advantage there, but besides that, that was all I had. And I think a lot of people are so invested in the day-to-day of the business and and people just have in their heads that people know what goes into a deck, people know what goes into whatever construction project, and can just spot like, oh yeah, like this is a great project, but yeah, they just finished today and there's some tools still left on the deck, but like, yeah, people should know like this is a good project. But people don't don't know anything about you most of the time. 90% of the people that are going to come across your work probably don't know you personally. They probably have never seen your work before. They probably don't know anybody that's used you before. So you have to look at it like, go on your website, go on your social, go on your Google listing, and just look like, what's it going to look like when a client goes to that for the first time?
Yeah.
That's their impression. That is your business. Like, that's, even if you don't advertise, like, that's your billboard is what people are going to see wherever they can find you. Whether it's your website or your social, like, make sure that is projecting the brand that you want to be received.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
I feel like that's like a great exercise for somebody to do. Like, if you meet somebody new, have them like say like, okay, hey, I work for Premier Outdoor Living. Like, what do you think about our online presence? And then have them like find you and see what they think. I think that could be a good exercise for people to do.
Yeah. Might be a little awkward. If you're like,
I mean, don't do it in like a weird way.
This is a Wawa. I don't have time for this.
Don't do it in a weird way. But like,
like if you're at a trade show and you meet another contractor, like, hey, let's look at each other's socials and grade them or whatever.
Yeah.
That kind of, let it lead it. Don't lead with that.
Don't attack people with it, but I feel like it could be a good.
It's a good exercise for sure. Or like I've seen people do, ask ChatGPT to roast you on your social presence.
Oh,
have you seen that?
Yeah. But it's just like...
Doesn't seem very constructive. It's just kind of funny, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe.
You're not into that idea.
Well, no, because it's just like, from what I saw, you just like take a screenshot of like your feed.
Oh, really?
And it's just like for Premiere, we post videos constantly. So like the screenshot of the feed isn't really that helpful. It's not like you're plugging in like roast Premier Outdoor Living and then ChatGPT goes and like looks at it. It's just like...
Oh, I was under that impression. I don't know how things work. I'm like getting old, I guess. I'm a boomer. But do you feel like that adequately kind of sums up that topic?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah.
Should I get into one more? Kind of question that I come across a lot. Do you think we got time for another little
Yes, we do have time.
Okay. All right.
We'll
Well,
give you the
we'll make
floor
this one
again.
a little bit. We'll make this one a little bit quicker.
Okay.
I don't have as many thoughts on it, but how do I go from being just little old me out here doing my construction thing to growing a crew and getting like a good crew and finding the right people and taking that jump that a lot of people assume that it is to take a leap and get out of your comfort zone? How do you go about doing that? And what should I do next? When do I know that it's time to hire somebody? Have you heard that one before?
I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Well, here's what I got to say about that, Catherine. You never really know. You never really know. At least for me, I never felt like super comfortable. Like this is the time I need to hire somebody that,
Well,
what?
When we hired Steve, you were like in the interview.
Okay. Well, we're talking about like the first couple. The first couple.
All right.
Yeah. Like, okay.
In the meeting, for context, in the meeting with Steve, our videographer, Sean was like immediately wanted to hire him in the interview. And I was like, no. Hang on. We got to do some due diligence. Just for context, so people know. But anyway, continue.
Right, that's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, but I'm thinking more of like those first initial hires, and especially Aunt. So that's what a lot of people refer to. Like, how do I find that guy? Like, how do I find my aunt? And Aunt reached out to me on Instagram, and it was just like kind of a casual, like, hey, are you thinking about hiring anybody? I really wasn't at that time, especially somebody that was super experienced, like way more experienced than me, that would need a higher salary and all this kind of stuff. I wasn't looking for that because I didn't think the business would be able to sustain that. I didn't think we were doing well enough to bring somebody on like that and support that. But, we met a couple times and we started talking. And although I didn't feel like there was a lot of unknown in me, like, is this the right thing to do? This is a really big step. This will be the biggest step that I've taken so far. It's a huge investment. It's a big kind of risk to bring someone on that's way more experienced than you, and they're going to be like the new leader when it comes to putting all the pieces together on the job site. So I never really felt like I was ready. It didn't feel like, yes, 100%, like, let's just jump into it. There was a lot of hesitation, but deep down, I just felt like I'm not going to be able to take it further in this aspect without bringing someone on like this. So ultimately, I went with my gut, and sometimes you have to wait for these opportunities to just come to you, and you just kind of feel it, and you never feel like you're at that exact right moment where you are completely comfortable with it, and you've done all your projections, and you know that everything's going to work out. Maybe some people are like that. I'm not like that. It's always a little bit scary, and I think people are like waiting sometimes for like this sign to come out of nowhere that this is the time to do it. And if there was a sign of any sign, it would be somebody like Aunt reaching out to me and saying, hey, will you hire me? But still, that wasn't even like enough of a super clear sign for me. I was still worried and like nervous, and not only because of the risk that you take, giving somebody a pretty high salary, especially for me to pay somebody at that time of the business. You also, like, I take it pretty serious as like this person's going to leave their job and come here. So I feel like I can't just try this for a month and be like, oh, things are really tight. Like I'm making a commitment to this person as well. As long as they're making a commitment to me and, they're trying their hardest, like I'm in it for the long haul. If I have to cut on my salary, like if whatever needs to happen to make this work, that's what I'm going to do. That's how invested I'm going to be in this. And that can be really scary. It could also be really scary to bring somebody on that's more experienced than you, especially if you're at a point in the business where you still do have a lot of like insecurity about being a business owner or being a craftsman. I had plenty of that. I still have that. And sometimes it can be scary to like no longer be the person that knows the most about everything that's going on. Ideally, that's the best place that you want to be. You don't want to be the person that knows everything and is the best in every aspect, because you're only going to go so far. And especially, all my limitations that I have. It's like if I was the best at every aspect of the business, we wouldn't go that far. We wouldn't go that far if I was doing everything. I need to have people around me that are better at almost everything than me. So ideally, that's the place you want to be.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at it logically, it's easy to see that and say, of course you want people that have greater strengths than you. But when it comes down to it, especially in the beginning, when you're still like, I'm a new business owner, I don't know, I feel like, you kind of almost have to have this protective shell around you. Like, yeah, of course I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional business owner and I'm really smart and I'm a business person and I know a lot. So I'm very important.
Very important.
I'm important. That's what people know me. And I definitely had that. I feel like I've gotten really good at breaking that down and just being like, hey, I'm an idiot. All right. I'm just out here doing my thing. I know a couple things about a couple things, but that's about it. But in the beginning, it's scary to like let go of that control to somebody else. But ultimately, it's a good thing. And if you can step back and look at that logically, I think everyone would agree with that. But you need to let go of some of like your ego and just let go of, I think everyone's not expecting you as the boss of the entrepreneur to know everything.
Yeah.
Like, I think it can feel like that as a business owner. Like you want to feel like your employees think that you know everything and like they can, look up to you and like, we have a problem, we just go to the captain and he'll figure it out for us. But ideally, your employees want to feel like you're just another human and they don't want to feel like you have this huge ego that you're like, I'm the best. Like I know everything.
Yeah, I don't think you need to know everything. You just need to know how to get the answer to everything. And I think that's why
everything?
you just need to know
God,
how to get the answer. That's why it's important to surround yourself with people who are good at the things you're bad at, because like that's like Anthony is a perfect example. Like you might not know something, but you have Anthony to have that answer for you. So that it's not important for you to know everything as a business owner. You just need to know how to get that answer. So that's why you surround yourself with people who are going to have those answers that you're not going to know. You're human. You can't possibly know everything. But you also aren't going to be like, well, I don't know. Figure it out on your own, I guess, kid. Like you know how to get the answer to everything.
Yeah, and sometimes it is. I don't know. You should know the answer, kid. That's why I hired you. Come on. Yeah, I 100% agree with that, but that's the hard part right there for some people, especially initially. Like when you're insecure in your own like stability as a new business owner, you almost have to like pretend to yourself that you're more apt to do this than you really are. Because if you start doubting, yourself, then it kind of all falls apart. So sometimes you need like a little bit of that in the beginning to like this kind of shell that you know more than you do, or you're more qualified than you are, because otherwise you start to not believe in yourself as much. And then I think you kind of get to a point where you realize that's not the best way to go about it. You're obviously not going to be able to exceed or succeed in every single aspect of what it takes to run a business. And if you can just like drop that facade of I'm an important business person and I got it figured out, it's just going to open up so many more possibilities for you and a lot of good things, like hiring those people that are way more qualified than you. And it's just amazing to look back and like the projects we were doing right before Ant started to like literally a year after he started, it was like a whole new business because I was able to focus on things that I was good at and he was able to do what he's really good at. Yeah. And, with each subsequent hire, it's been a similar thing.
Yeah.
You came on board and it was like, I need somebody that's going to like kind of be able to be a sounding board for my vision and help kind of like build this strategic big picture stuff together and like help stick to it, like tackle it together and stick to it and give me pushback when you're like, well, that's kind of going against what you just said like last week. And we can't just keep flip-flopping here because we're not going to get anywhere. And that's what I need. So like, and then same thing with hiring Steve. So I think it was really like that initial hire with Ant. That was the scariest one. And then it was like, oh, why did this take so long? I'm an idiot. So That can be scary for people, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Simmer on that, on what I just said. If that's resonating with you, you'll know who you are and you'll say, you know what? I don't know anything, and that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Great job.
Thanks so much.
Great answers for those.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
All right. Do you have anything else? Any other questions?
No. Do I got
That was
some questions for you?
Yeah, because it's time for...
Whoa, I don't know what this music's leading up to. Probably our Rookie Happy Hour trivia extravaganza. Starting right now.
Kind of ran a little late, so I'm going to skip construction news, move that to next week, and we're hopping right into trivia.
Hey, let's hop right into it. This is my favorite part. It's my favorite
And I just
part.
realized last week we tied,
Oh, no.
and overall we are tied. So,
Oh, wow.
kind of seems rigged or something.
Oh, okay. I thought I pulled up my notes and it was last week's questions, but
Oh,
gosh. I
Okay,
found them. We're all good. We're all good. We're all good here. All right.
See if I
Do you
can
want to go
find
first or you want
mine,
me to
okay.
go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay, Sean.
Yes.
I thought I'd start off with maybe a lob. I don't know. I guess it depends, but just something you should know. I guess.
Okay.
True or false? Construction code is revised and re-released every 4 years. True or false?
False.
What is it?
Every 2 years.
False.
Every year.
3 years.
Okay. Yeah, I know, because I know I was thinking that it's 2019, and I was thinking 2022, but I'm like, 3 years? That doesn't sound right. I knew it wasn't
3
4.
years.
All right. I got it right. Yay. All right. Off to a good start here. Okay. Because we were just at a trade show, it got me thinking about the next trade show. Maybe it's not the next one, but one that's coming up, which is the International Builders Show. It's the biggest one I've been to.
Yeah.
You have been there as well. And here's the question.
Okay.
IBS, the International Builders Show, had more than 2,100 exhibitors last year. True or false?
Over under 2,100?
Over under 2,100. Well, they had more than 2,100. So true or false on that statement?
They had more than 2,100. Okay. When we went, it was absolutely massive. Super big. So many different halls. There are 2 different halls, I believe. When are we going? What year is this? Or is it for this year?
2024, last year.
Last year. Okay. 2,100. I'm going to go, I feel like the answer is yes, so I'm going to go false.
All right.
like you're tricking me.
Great logic
Okay.
here. It is false. 1,800. Still a lot.
1,800. That is
Still a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. It's a lot of booths, and some of them are absolutely gigantic. And there are more than 2 halls. There's at least 3 halls, and I think there's 4 halls. Plus, there's the outdoor exhibit area. It's insane. It's crazy.
When I went,
I'm excited.
It was in Orlando, but I think that.
Oh, you only went once?
No, maybe I did go when it was in Vegas one year. I don't know. Who can be sure?
Yeah.
Been to a lot of shows at this point.
Blah,
Anyway.
blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
All right. Good job. All right.
Thank you.
One.
Okay. Sean.
Yes.
Which of the following is a common use of air entrancing additives in concrete? And I'm asking this because I was looking up stuff about, when we messed up concrete the last time, it was because of the flow, whatever. So
Okay.
So which of the following is a common use of air entrancing additives or admixtures in concrete?
Okay.
A, increasing the strength of the concrete. B, improving the workability of the concrete.
Okay.
C, improving the durability of the concrete in freezing and thawing climates. Or D, accelerating the setting time of the concrete. Do you need me to read them again?
All right. What is it? Air entrancing?
Air entrancing.
Are you sure that's right? Not air enhancing?
Nope. Air entrancing.
Okay.
Which,
Okay.
I'll explain to you what it is if you can't figure it out.
Sure, yeah.
But what we added did have air entrancing components to it.
Okay. Increasing the workability.
Incorrect.
What? What is
It
it?
improves the durability of the concrete in freezing and thawing climates. Air entrancing means that it adds these tiny little micro bubbles in it, so it keeps little pockets in it.
Okay. All right. Hey,
Which
whatever.
it was in the what we'd put in there flow. What was it?
Flow control.
Flow control. There's emergency vehicles. Is that here or is that at your house?
I think it was at your house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to the people. Okay.
That's
Anyway,
okay.
next.
Okay. My question. When we were at the show, one thing that I noticed a lot of in the pool and the deck area was lighting.
Oh, okay.
LED lighting, to be precise.
Yes.
And we talked about LED stands for light emitting diode.
Correct, yes.
So when was the first practical LED invented?
Okay.
So there was a different time, it had previously been, like the concept had been proven, but something that was bright enough to be of practical use.
Okay.
Understand?
Like put into practical use, or the technology was developed?
The technology was developed.
Okay.
Previously, it would have to
matter,
be
but we'll
monitored under like a microscope or something like that. So,
okay.
When was the first practical LED invented?
Okay.
1991, 1962, 1939, or 1894?
1894.
Remember that year?
Yeah, I was
Good
around.
year. Yeah.
Oh, great year. 91, 62, 39, or 1894?
Yep.
LED invented.
Light emitting diode.
I feel like I remember them being around like as a kid, but they were like it was all very expensive, so it wasn't like widely available, but was very available.
All right,
I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm
gotta
sorry.
get a timer on this.
I know. I like to think about it like practically.
Okay.
I'll go 62.
Good job. Way to go.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great. That was really good. I like your logic there. And you were right. It was invented by Nick Holonyak Jr., who was a scientist at General Electric, and he was actually trying to develop a better laser.
Interesting.
Yeah. They were trying to put lasers on sharks or something. Anyway, that was a different documentary. Austin Powers.
Oh. Okay. Me. Now.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
All right, Sean.
Yep.
What is the difference between a volt and a watt?
All right, hold on. So, wait, it's 2-1. I already answered my. Dang it! You got both of them right so far. Okay, I really got to get this one right. All right, what is it? What's the difference between a volt and a watt?
Yeah.
A volt measures the amount of electrical conductivity, where a watt measures brightness, like a light. The way you're looking at me, it looks like that's close enough. What are we gonna do?
No.
What? No?
A volt measures the pressure, and the watt measures the power. So volts are like the water pressure in a pipe, and watts are like the flow rate of the water. They measure the rate at which electrical energy is being used or transferred. A higher wattage means more electrical power is being consumed or delivered.
Okay.
Higher voltage means more pressure pushing the electrons with greater force.
Okay. I don't understand, but that's fine. I don't need to. I just know that I got it wrong, and I can't win now, but let's see if you can go 3 for 3 here.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you kind of a wide range here of acceptable answers.
Okay.
So while we were at the show, another thing that I noticed was, you know what there was a lot of?
What?
Software companies.
True. Yeah.
A lot
there's
of
couple.
software
Yeah.
companies. So what is the global market value for construction software in 2024? I'll give you you already won. So I'm going to give you a pretty wide net here on what is the global market value for construction software.
Specifically construction software.
Specifically, yes.
I'm going to go $650 million.
You are totally wrong. That's not even close to an acceptable answer. It's about $9.5 billion.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was right, but that's a lot more than I would have thought.
Yeah,
wow.
You made it easy for me. Like, if you were going to say, like, 6 billion, I probably would have said, 14. It might have been on the cusp. But no, you weren't even close at all.
No, not even a little bit.
Pretty crazy, right? So it kind of makes sense why, there are so many of them.
Yeah.
So
get that cheddar, my goodness.
Get that cheddar. It's not all about the cheddar, but it is partially about the cheddar.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow, that is surprising.
Yeah.
Go for them.
Hey, the more you know.
Maybe we should come up with a software.
Probably. Because honestly, once there's all this money coming into it, you got all these investors that are just pouring money into it. So,
and then we just got to sell it.
Yeah. Either you sell it, or number two, you just burn all the money and then you just go back to whatever you were doing before. But you have like a sick office.
Either plan.
All you're doing is playing ping pong all day in the office because you got to build that cool culture.
Yeah, then we'd be a tech company, so we'd live like a tech. We'd have pickleball court.
Yeah, everybody.
We'd have beer in the fridge.
Inside.
Like, it's cool. We can have a happy hour at the end of the workday or whatever they do.
No, the beginning of the workday.
Oh, lunch beers.
No, breakfast beers. Everybody's just drunk and playing ping pong. Investors come in. Sorry. We're just trying to
we're really
connect with our demographic.
Our culture is really important here.
We're trying to get inside the mind of the construction worker. Okay.
All right, that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. All right, well, I guess that's it for this week and some closing thoughts. My Jerry Springer closing thoughts.
Okay.
I think we got time for that.
Yeah.
It really is. Every time we go to shows like this, and just because we've got a couple followers on social media, some people just they look up to you in such a weird way that, when I think I'm just like a guy building backyards that's like trying to figure it out, doesn't really know what he's doing most of the time, and I'm just struggling along. So when I see it from this side, it's like, what? Like, what? I don't know. Why do you, excuse me, sir, why do you think I have all these answers for you? I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But it reminds me, just a couple years ago, I would do the same thing to other people. Like, oh, they have it all figured out. Like, if I could just get these couple answers from this person, see how they're doing it, I'll have it all figured out. And I can just, really explode my business knowledge. And there's got to be some sort of secret or something like that. And eventually I realized, there's not like a big secret anywhere. There might be a million tiny little secrets that you can implement, but there's really not that much that that you need to get from other people. I don't want to say that, but there's so many just different resources, and I think it just takes time to develop that belief in yourself that there's not something that you're missing that these other people have, because that's how I always felt. Like, there's just something that I don't quite have, whether it's the ability to focus or the ability to stay organized or, all these different things. You just think that these other people are so much more put together and smarter and harder working. And then you kind of realize no, they're just kind of like me, but they've probably been doing it a lot longer and they've had a lot more errors, and I don't get to see all those. I just see, what's online, which, maybe they'll show some mistakes, but overall, they just seem so successful. And I think once you realize that everybody is just figuring it out as they go, and you're no different than anybody else, it's just maybe you haven't messed up enough times to get all those lessons that they have. That's not to say you shouldn't, be reading as much as you can or asking people questions, but you need to get that belief in yourself that you're just like everybody else and you can do it too. trust me, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So just break down those self-limiting thoughts, and you'll flourish like the flower you were planted to be.
Beautiful. As always, beautiful.
So yeah, I tied it up pretty nice there at the end.
You did, yeah, you did.
All right, well, that's it.
Great job.
You got any final thoughts?
No, I think you did a great job.
Oh, thanks. That's your final thought?
I don't want to tarnish your final thought with giving another final thought that might not be quite as profound. So we'll just leave it there.
Okay. All right. Sounds great. All right. Well, that's it for this week. It's been a fun one. Please, if you listen to this podcast, do us a favor. Share it with somebody. We want to keep growing this. We want to bring you more powerful content. We want to, with your support and more people listening, we can invest more time into it. And that's what it kind of takes to put together some good topics and have the time to get good guests and all that kind of stuff. So if you can share it with somebody, share it and leave us a review and all that good stuff. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. So
yep.
Till next time, this has been the Hardworking Happy Hour.
See you next week.